And like that, we live. What's going on, YouTube, man? It's Ahava, and today, man, I'm here with Ganz TARAP, former member of the ISUPK. He came out with a Hebrew Israelite Precept book, and you know what I'm saying. I wanted to bring him on the show because this is something that's, this is like something that's like the first Precept book that's being publicly released. You know what I mean? So I wanted to bring Ganz TARAP on the show so he could talk about his Precept book. And one of the first things I wanted to say was like, you know what I'm saying, what was the inspiration behind putting out even doing the Hebrew Israelite Precept book?
Well, the first inspiration, actually, you was the first inspiration for coming out with a Precept book. You know, I never really thought about coming out with a Precept book before. I was going to do a book, based on, my experiences, with ISUPK, which that'll probably be a thing that I'll still do further on down the line. But, when you asked me about doing a Precept book or whatever, and I thought to, do one with, commentary, you know what I'm saying, and make it, to make it public.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, because, the reason why I was asking a lot of people about a Precept book. I was actually trying to prospect for this Israelite camp, and they wanted me to like read different chapters of the Bible, and like they would quiz me on it. But I was like, that's not the way that I learn. I learn by being taught. You understand? So,
right.
you know what I'm saying? So, like, the way that they was trying to educate me on the scriptures and the way that I learned, it just didn't work for me. So I was like, actually, I ended up asking them specifically, do y'all have a Precept book, you know what I'm saying, like for y'all members? And when they said no, it kind of took me back. I'm like, why wouldn't y'all have a Precept book when a lot of y'all camps are on the streets teaching, you know what I'm saying, y'all not reading the Bible to people, y'all going precept to precept. So I'm like, why don't y'all have a Precept book for people that's trying to join? And then I started wondering, like, why isn't there a Precept book available? And then, I met you, and then we started, getting to know each other. And, you know what I mean? But by me being an individual, like, I'm not a part of no camp. And it's like, I still want to learn, though. But I'm not a reader of the Bible. The way I do learn is through Precept. So when you took on the challenge of making a Precept book, I thought that was like monumental, and just little, what I'm saying, all I did was ask the question, but it sparked something that was real, like something legendary about to come out of this, because you're the first one to actually do it.
Right, so, yeah, I mean, being the fact that they ain't trying to cuff their Precept books and all of that stuff, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we're supposed to be, sharing what we have with the nation anyway. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be sharing the stuff. We ain't supposed to be just cuffing everything. And then they want you to join them, just to get a Precept book and all of that, I mean, another thing too is the fact that they really don't study the Bible like that. They don't really study and analyze the Bible and everything for themselves. They do pretty much kind of the same thing that what they do in the Christian church. They let the preacher feed them, you know what I'm saying, without doing no study or no research or anything on their own. But see, I did a lot of study, on my own and everything, and when they know that you did a lot of study on your own, now they start to be curious about you, and eventually you're going to become their enemy. If you don't just dump everything out and then let them fill you with what they want you to have, then they'll label you as an enemy somewhere down the line.
Yeah. Okay. So when it comes to your precept book, is it certain topics that you feel like you wasn't able to teach in school that you put in this specific
Eh,
precept book?
Yes, yes. There was certain topics in there, you know what I'm saying? Like the topic about the quote unquote chariots, uh, also about the fallen angels and their children, the giants. That's another topic right there. You know,
Okay.
and
Yeah,
they
I got
can't
the
sit
text
there and say,
pulled up right now. You see it?
you know,
You can see my screen.
right, right, yeah, I see it on the screen.
Yeah. Let me. But just so we can let everybody know, so Ganz TARAP said that he wanted to come out with volumes to the precept book. So this is only volume one. You know what I mean? So like how many volumes do you think it's going to take to have a complete precept book?
I'm gonna make about 4 volumes to this total.
Okay,
You know,
so in 4 volumes, you
yeah,
feel like people would be well armed with what they
right,
need.
right.
Okay, Con. Okay, well let's go through these topics. So chapter one, you got the first topic is proof that we are the Israelites and the skin color. You know, like you know what I'm saying? Like I like that being chapter one because when you coming into the truth, it's like if you trying to teach someone that they are Israelite, this you know what I'm saying? Like these some good precepts, you know, if you're trying to help teach someone that they're Israelite. Chapter one, you know, people gonna be well armed straight off of that. And you
Right.
touch into the skin color too, which is, you know, do you want to kind of like briefly talk about what you put in chapter one for people?
Yeah, as far as the skin color and everything, I'm gonna straighten one thing out. As far as what other Israelite groups teach. You know, what groups teach? They teach that when he said that when King Solomon was supposed to said, "I'm black, but comely, O daughters of Israel." Actually, that wasn't King Solomon talking, even though King Solomon was black too. You know what I'm saying? That
Hmm.
was actually his wife that was talking,
Okay.
his bride to be that was actually talking, you know,
I
and,
think you even
and
put
what she
that
meant.
in there.
Uh,
I think you even put that in there. I don't want to show too much, but yeah, songs you put it right there.
right, right. That was actually his
All
bride to be talking, that was talking. And here's the thing, that was also, the woman she was forced by her sisters to work in the vineyard, you know, but her own vineyard she couldn't she couldn't work on her own vineyard. She had to work on the vineyard of her sisters, you know, and instead of her skin being the lustrous is brown. Of course, it got darker because overexposure to the sun, just like what happened to us in the cotton fields.
yeah,
When you look at any slave pictures of us in the cotton fields, we look way darker than what we look like now,
yeah,
because we had to work from sun up to sundown inside those cotton fields and everything in the intense heat. You know that symbolizes also with us coming out of Egypt, because we had to work in their fields
hmm,
and keep their vineyards, but not our own.
right,
You see what I'm saying? Yeah, we
right,
had to, keep their vineyards. But back to the topic of skin color. You know, well, I mean, it's
yeah,
obvious that this is a very dark skinned woman, and King Solomon has said his locks were bushy and black as a raven.
right,
You
right,
know,
right. Now I got
I
a
mean,
question with that. I got a question with that, right?
okay.
All right, so when it's talking about that scripture you just said, let me let me scroll to it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all make sure y'all purchase his precept, then y'all could jump straight to the precept that he's talking about, y'all. You got it in there. Songs of Solomon 5:11. It says his head is as the most fine gold, his locks are bushy and black as a raven.
Yeah.
So right. So my question with that is like, are the locks talking about locks like how I got right here? How these are like, you know what I'm saying, like locked up into braids, and they black as a raven. Also, if you can see my my cornrows,
Right.
they're talking
Right.
about that.
Okay. A lock of hair. You know, people think that a lock of hair is like dreadlocks or braids, but it's not specifically talking about dreadlocks or braids. Like, say for instance, a lock of hair. If somebody was to grab a handful of your hair, that would be a lock of hair.
Okay.
Yeah, see, because King Solomon like had braids and everything. I'm quite sure it wouldn't be bushy. When we have bushy braids, that would mean our braids was it was time for us to get our hair done again. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. Exactly.
Locks is a handful of hair. Also, a handful, like I was saying, if somebody was to grab a handful of your hair, that would be a lock of hair. Your fingers would lock around, the hair.
Yeah, like that's why our brothers need picks because our hair is so woolly and it locks up on its own. Like, you know what I mean?
Right, right. You know. So now it says bushy and black as a raven. Okay. The Jewish man, his hair don't get black as a raven.
Yeah.
When they say, when somebody said that somebody is black-headed, talking about a white person, really they talking about it's dark brown.
Yeah.
But we done all seen ravens before.
Right.
And a raven is solid black.
Yeah, and that's that's describing our hair. And
Right,
also what I want to point out about your precept book, you know what I mean? Like when y'all purchase his precept book, if y'all see in green, this is his commentary of it. So, you know what I mean? So like, what was it? Yeah, it was this one. So what I would like to say about his it was Songs of Solomon 5:11. So what I want to say about his about Tarap, break down what he just did just now. He also got the commentary of it, so he'll have the scripture and he'll put like the whole breakdown in it. So I'm gonna read this breakdown. Y'all can compare it to what he say, but everything gonna be true because he just said it and it's already in his commentary. Songs of Solomon 5:11. His head is as the most fine gold. His locks are bushy and black as a raven. So in his commentary, he said, here it mentions King Solomon's hair. When it says locks, it's talking about piles of hair or handcuffs, which means King Solomon had a big afro. When it mentions his head of being fine gold, it's talking about color of his head. It's talking about him being the most powerful king on earth, just like Nebuchadnezzar was the head of gold on the statue of the book of, in the book of Daniel. You know what I mean? Just like that. Okay, I got you back. So yeah, so you know what I mean? So when y'all get this precept book, he gives you the understanding of what's in there. He actually took the time. That's why I say support him. You know what I mean? Because he put the, saying, like, he ain't do it the lazy way. He ain't just go through a whole bunch of scriptures. He actually took the time to write commentary and break it down too, so y'all can understand the scripture. And you're not getting that nowhere else. You know what I mean? and for the time that he put into it, you want to tell him how much you selling the Precept books for?
Selling the Precept books for $20.
$20. Cash apps, you know what I mean? He'll give you his cash app for $20 for all this time, you know, all these precepts up in here, man. So yeah, that was, you know what I mean, that was a good clean cut breakdown. And then you know, chapter 2, you got how we will get into the wilderness. Okay.
Yeah, that's gonna be that's another one right there, you know, which goes contrary to what the One West camps, you know, teach, or any other type of group teach.
Okay, so like, what do they teach compared to what's in this Precept book briefly?
Okay, the One West camp. Okay, you know, we know that the Christianity, you know, Christianity teach that we'll just disappear. They teach the rapture. You know, they teach
Right.
you know, they teach all of that stuff. Like you've seen the movie Megiddo. You know, they used to be on TBN. And the Israelite groups teach that we're going to be zapped up on flying saucers.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, that's what I learned. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what all the One West groups teach, that we're going to be zapped up on flying saucers. But think about this for a second. Did we go up on any flying saucers in ancient Egypt?
No, I could say no to that. I could say no.
Right. We didn't get beamed up. Scotty didn't come beam us up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There wasn't no beam me up Scotty type stuff going on. You know?
Okay.
We had to happen.
So One West camps are teach. So where do they get the idea of chariots being spaceships then?
Okay. One place they get it. Are you familiar with the cult called Heaven's Gate?
No.
Okay, it was a cult back in the day called Heaven's Gate. And Heaven's Gate was this group and everything that was supposed to they were supposed to be zapped up or whatever, you know, with flying saucers coming to get them. But once they seen that the flying saucers did not come and get them, then they
Hold on, it's a connection issue. Okay. I was hoping this wouldn't happen. Let me see. I'm gonna put the screen on me for a little bit. But yeah, so the brother connection kind of went out. I'm gonna try to remove him from the stage.
Pretty much saying that they drunk that poison, they all died, just like with Jim Jones. You know. And I can't remember the name of that group that he had, but same thing happened there with Jim Jones.
Okay. Hey, Tarap, you there? Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Yo, I don't know if you know, but your connection messing up right now. I'm trying to remove you, bring it back. Okay, yeah, he just left out. He'll be right back, so, okay, it's on me then. So yeah, until he come back. So yeah, he was breaking down the wilderness. I'm gonna let him. Okay, he back. Cool. Came back right on time. I might gotta just call him. Okay, you there? Mic check. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah. Go ahead. So the connection's strong now. So
okay.
So you was breaking down the
like I was saying, you know that. Go ahead.
No, Salaki, it's on you. Go ahead. You was talking about the chariots.
Oh, no. Yeah. Okay.
Times.
Okay. It was a group that was out there that was called Heaven's Gate. You know, and that's what they taught, that they was gonna one day get zapped out by, spaceships was gonna come and zap them all up. When they seen that that didn't happen, then they was told to take a poison.
Hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you too wild. I hear you.
Okay. Yeah, they was told to take a poison, and that poison, killed them and everything. They found all of them dead on bunk beds, wearing Nike shoes. You know,
Mm-hmm.
word Nike means victory.
Oh,
So,
okay. You said the word Nike
so
means
now what
victory?
happened in the year 2000? They had them believing in that same chariot doctrine, back in the year 2000, and a whole lot of people destroyed and wiped their lives out behind that doctrine.
Damn.
Can you hear me? Yeah. A whole lot of people destroyed. A lot of people committed suicide back then. That was in the One West camps.
Damn.
They committed suicide. Yeah. I mean, they was burning it first, but they was burning their money. All that kind of stuff, thinking that the chariots was gonna come and get them and all of that, and it didn't happen. And some of them, I heard some of them jump to their death.
You talking about like the everyday niggas, like just committed suicide over Y2K?
Yeah. Well, they want to they cover that up. Nobody wants to talk about that. But here's the funny thing about it: even after that, they still push that particular doctrine. They still teach that.
I'm coming back on the screen now. Okay. You telling me, so like the Y2K, I remember that because during Y2K, like I was still in school, but I was like a real youngin' at that time. And when it came to the Y2K, I still had to go to school that day, but like the week leading up to it, me being a little kid, Y2K, right. I'm born 1990, so that's 10 years. So I was like 10 years old, elementary school. You know what I mean? So coming up to that whole week of Y2K, me being 10 years old, we thinking that the world going to end. You know what I mean? And my mother telling me, yo, you still going to go to school. I still got on that school bus. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, this, I wanted to stay home and be with my mother. Because I'm thinking the world going to end. I'm 10 years old. And we get to school, like, what I'm saying? Like me and my friends, like we, like not trying to do our work. We like kind of scared, but the bell keep ringing and we keep going to the next class. We're like, okay, what time is the world going in? Man, we made it all the way to recess. We made it all the way to lunch. You know what I mean? 10 years old. Because the shit was on the news too. I remember that. And man, we made it all the way home. I was able to eat dinner with my mother. But all right, so the point of everything I'm saying is like, what I'm saying? Like, yeah, the news put the propaganda on Y2K, but by like my mother not being in the cult, she didn't commit suicide and kill herself because this about to be the last day on earth. And you telling me that educated Negroes killed themselves during Y2K. And here I am from when I was 10 years old to in my 30s, I'm still here. But people killed themselves. That's why I put myself back on the screen so I could say that on the camera live right now. Because you saying people in the truth killed themselves over the Y2K doctrine. It's on you.
Yeah, actually, no, they didn't call it the Y2K doctrine. What they were saying is the chariots are supposed to come and swoop them up.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Okay. They were saying that the world is supposed to end in the year Christ is coming back in the year 2000 is what they were saying.
Yeah.
Coming with with the angels and the chariots and all of that. You know what I'm saying? That's what they were saying.
Man. Yeah, man, you know what? Man, that takes, I mean, like, I do want you to continue, but if you look at your topics, it got is your religious camp leader a prophet? Boom. Based on what we're
Right,
talking about, it's like you had the mindset to put that as one of your chapters in your precept book too. I just wanted to interject that, you know.
right. Now they see, and that's just like what a prophet says is going to come true. Whatever a prophet says, you know,
Yeah.
and also too, a prophet can, like say for instance, you had the one prophet that told the one king. I didn't put this in the book, but the prophet that told the one king to take his arrow, you know, and smite it up on the ground. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord was going to destroy his enemies. The prophet, a true prophet, will tell you to do something that seems like it don't even make sense, right?
Yeah.
You know, but you do what he tell you to do, and whatever it's gonna happen. Like you had the one prophet, he tapped in his pride, I guess. He tapped his arrow on the ground only 3 times, and the Lord only destroyed a third of his enemies. Now just imagine what would happen if he kept tapping it. The Lord would have wiped everything out.
Yeah.
That's a prophet right there.
Yeah.
Now when there's a prophet among people, everybody know it. You know what I'm saying? Just like with Moses.
Right.
Everybody knew, hey, wait a minute, the Lord is with this dude right here. The Lord is with him. You know what I'm saying? Certainly, regardless of whether you like him or not, the Lord is with that man.
Yeah.
He stepped straight to Pharaoh. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Ain't none of these dudes stepping directly to Donald Trump.
No. No, they not. Right. I said, no, they not. If the FBI come to them, they like, okay, what you need, what information you need,
Right.
They not saying,
exactly.
you know what I'm saying, get away from my doorstep. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's not the sign of no prophet. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just like when the story with Elijah, I'm paraphrasing, but it was somebody's axe head that had slipped off of the axe, and it was something that slipped in the water. You know what I'm saying? And the axe head, see, to throw the axe head inside the water. The axe head, as far as physically was supposed to sink, but no. Instead, it brought up whatever it was that was lost in the water. Also, too, what did Christ tell Peter to do? Christ told Peter to, told him it's a fish in there. Catch the fish, and inside the fish's mouth is going to be a gold coin.
Right.
Take it and pay the taxes for me and you both. Right. These dudes that call themselves prophets don't have nothing near that type of ability. They just slapping titles on themselves.
Right.
They're just slapping titles on themselves, something to make them feel puffed up, and something, actually it's a form of mind control. Yeah.
The only thing, these fake prophets out here can do is, like they know your work schedule, like they know your payday. They know your payday is bi-weekly Friday or every Friday. And the only thing they could prophesize is that 10% every Friday or every bi-weekly Friday. That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the only thing that they can prophesy. And then what does One West? What does ISUBK teach? It says Commanding General Hanna predicted World War III. I mean, come on, dude. Yeah, people already knew there was going to be a World War III after World War II.
Yeah,
because the whole war game stepped up.
I said my history teacher that was a white man told me that in high school that it was going to be World War III.
Right. Everybody and their mama knew there was going to be a World War III coming. Everybody knew that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And everybody knew that World War III was going to be even more destructive than World War II and World War One.
Yeah.
But then they said,
all right, I got a question, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to paint you as a prophet, but do you believe that World War III is the final world war? Or do you think world, you know what I'm saying, like, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, like after this go on, you know, we're going to go back to our regular lives. The government going to still be politics as usual. And, you know, it'll be another war, you know, down the line.
as far as I don't think it's going to be another World War III after this one. But what there will be is all the nations, you know, after the 1,000-year reign of peace, which I'm going to put this inside the next book, the volume 2. What's going to happen is the whole world is going to come together against us. That's what's going to happen. Yeah, if people want to call that a world war, I mean, yeah, you can call it a world war because all the other worlds is going to come against one world, which is going to be us.
I like that. I can't wait for volume 2. If if you got some knowledge you about to drop with that, that's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna be dropping that in volume 2. You know, as a matter of fact, you know, when the scripture talk about Gog and Magog.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
You know, they're gonna be, because see, after this world war, after you know, the white man gets wiped out, he's not gonna be the power in that day. The Lord is gonna raise up Japheth in that day. People think Gog and Magog is Russia. No, that's the land of Magog. But the people that are on that land are Esau. But during the 1,000-year reign of peace, what's going to happen is Japheth is going to develop as a superpower. The white man is going to be done. He's going to be finished. You know, and so Magog, you know, is going to be running lead. You know.
Okay. Okay. Hey, all right, Tarap. So, like, I do have to say this. You know what I'm saying? Because not only is your precept book for Hebrew Israelites, it's also for Christians too.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? So, like, you would have to dumb down what you're saying right now for the Christians too. So, like, who is Japheth today? Who is Gog and Magog today? For the people that don't know.
Okay. Japheth, you know, contrary to popular belief, because, you know, people have you thinking that the white man is Japheth, that the Europeans are all Japheth. They're saying that's the land of Japheth. You know, and who they are today, one of the families of Japheth is Iran. You know, but Iran is not going to be, you know, Iran is not going to be evil on a level of, you know, of Magog.
Okay,
you know?
and Magog is who? Because you said it's not Russia.
Yeah, Magog today is very small. They're insignificant on the world stage today. Because, see, that's what the Lord does. The Lord takes the base people and puts them on top. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know, he takes the base. Right now, Magog is not even not even on the world scale. Not even, they some little tribe, some little world. They're relatively a nobody.
Okay.
You know. But Japheth, you know, the Japheth, as far as the power, okay, you got Togarmah, which is the Turks. You know, the children of Togarmah, or Togarmah rather. And then you have the Persians, and we know it's Iran. You know, but they're not gonna be the ones that's gonna stir the world up to come against us. They're not going to be the ones that's going to do that. And that thing right there won't happen with Japheth until after, till after the 1,000-year reign of peace,
Okay.
which will be also the 8th day, which means a new beginning. And the whole world is going to be stirred up. That's going to be the biggest battle that the Lord has ever fought on the earth.
Yeah. Okay.
That's going to be the mega battle right there. That's going to be, and see, another thing that's going to make this war different is the fact that we'll not be destroyed for our sins. We're going to be a righteous and holy nation at that time, and because the Lord says they're gonna come. I'm paraphrasing, but they're gonna come for you, but it's not going to be by me. But the Lord is going to use that as an occasion to stomp everybody in place.
Right.
It's gonna make it's gonna make the Valley of Jehoshaphat look like child's play.
All right. Okay. So we looking forward to, one thing you're doing is you going completely against, ISUPK and Commander General Yohana when you saying World War III is not the last war before Christ come back.
Right. It's not going to be. It's not. It's not going to be. The last at all. I mean, Christ is going to. Come. Christ is going to come back in the 1,000-year reign of peace. But see, here's the thing. Like I was saying, all the world is going to be stirred up after the 1,000-year reign of peace. Because the 1,000-year reign of peace is going to be a Sabbath for the whole earth. Because people ain't going to study war no more after that. You know what I'm saying? They're going to, like the scriptures say, beat your sword in the plowshares. You know what I'm saying? At that time, the 1,000-year reign of peace, nobody's even going to study war. People is not going to be making weapons, none of that. You know why? Because the Lord is going to have everybody in so much fear, that it's going to bring peace on the earth.
Yeah, Salakia, I just want to interject real quick. I'm glad you're saying this because just like the Y2K thing where people thought the world was about to end, like by you saying this, you letting people know, not to quit your job because World War III is here, not to get behind on your bills because you think World War III here and everything about the, Christ coming back. You telling people we still got a lot of living to do,
Right. The thing about it, the Lord is going to start. We have to look if we want to know what's going to happen. We have to look back to what happened in the time of Exodus under Moses, because we're going to know when it's time to separate. Because you know why? Because a matter of fact, it's starting now with all of this thing that Trump is doing and all of that. It's starting now. What is he doing right there? Mass layoffs, on jobs. Things like that. Everything is being shaken up right now.
Yeah.
It's just like, we was in the same situation back during the time of ancient Egypt, before we had to go back into Goshen.
Mm-hmm.
And from Goshen is how we started to make it out of Egypt. There wasn't no flying saucers coming to get us.
Okay. Perfect. So, so we're going to save that for volume 2 of the Precept book. Now, let's get to this topic. So you said no rapture, no flying saucers are coming to get you. Okay, so this chapter, is your religious camp leader a priest? You wanna talk about what inspired this chapter?
Okay. Like, say for instance, ISUPK say that they're the priest and say that they're priests. Well, we already know you only had one, only one tribe that the priest came out of.
Levi.
Yep. And that's the tribe of Levi, right?
Right.
And then even inside the tribe of Levi, all of them weren't priests. You had the priest and the Levites. And in order to be a priest, you had to be, you had to come out of the loins of Aaron specifically. And once we get gathered up as a nation and everything, it's still going to be the Lord promised Phineas an everlasting priesthood.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The Lord promised Phineas an everlasting priesthood. So what does that say? So that means if anybody can be a priest, that means either the Lord broke his promise to Phineas, or the people that call themselves priests are frauds and ain't no priests.
Okay, so
now we know that the Most High is not a promise breaker.
Right. So okay, let me take it off the screen real quick. In this chapter, is your religious camp leader a priest? You know what I'm saying? Like, what type of food are you trying to feed the people that's going to read this chapter? You there? Oh man, he hopped off. He logged off. That's good. He'll be back. So that's how it's on me. Ain't no biggie. Put it on me. So the question I asked him based on this chapter is your religious camp leader a priest? So I asked him, so he said what he said, and I'm asking him, okay, so what type of food is anyone going to get out of this chapter? Because I want to ask him, is he specifically trying to battle ISUPK in these precepts of this chapter, or is it something that is it going to be an interesting chapter that people want to learn from? Okay, he's back. Add him back into the stage. Okay, you back?
Yeah, I'm back in.
All right, yeah. So in this chapter, my follow-up question was, what type of food are you trying to give people, as far as people that's going to read this chapter? What type of, you know what I mean?
Well, I'm letting them know that the people that call themselves priests are not priests.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty much letting them know that. Everybody that's a part of these camps, talking about that they priests and prophet, priest this and priest that. These ain't nothing but a bunch of people that's putting titles up on themselves. And you have to ask yourself the question: the officer of 50 inside the ISUPK is called a priest. But see, here's the thing though: if he's a priest, then where his tithes at then?
Oh, I was thinking that, you know what I'm saying? I knew you was setting it up, you know what I'm saying, for the punchline of saying that. I was like, damn, is he about to say what I think he about to say?
Yeah, right, yeah. If he's a priest, why he got
working?
Right, right. And why he got to pay tithes off of his McDonald's check? Him working at McDonald's, he got to give 10% of his little check that he get from McDonald's, And then you have to. I mean, this whole topic is loaded right here.
Yeah, I gotta bring myself back on the screen. All right, I gotta ask you this. So this chapter can help women out, because what I do know is that a lot of people that call themselves priests, they feel like they ain't gotta work and they can live off their women. So do you got precepts in here that could take this veil off? Go ahead.
A lot of them, just like in anything, you have certain people that
You good? I hear you.
What was he saying?
Nah, go ahead. You got it. I hear you. Yo, you there? Oh man, he was about to go. Oh yeah, his connection. I think he about to hop off again. Remove him, bring him back to the stage. Damn. Yeah. See, I knew I felt like I might have to just call him, but I don't want to be the only one on the screen. You know what I mean? This ain't Hebrew Anonymous. I ain't trying to just be on the screen like this the whole time, y'all. You know what I mean? I'm trying to share the spotlight, man. So hopefully this connection will get back on. But yeah, so okay, I like this chapter. I like this chapter. Yo, you there? Yeah, man. So let me. Oh yeah, he just left off. So yeah, man. So this chapter right here, is your religious camp leader a priest? So what I asked him was, you know what I mean? Like these dudes act like they priests and prophets, and they think, you know, they could get a whole bunch of wives and all this. They feel like they ain't gotta work, they can live off women, you know what I mean, whatever the case may be, because they got scriptures showing that they are priests, and you know, they could just take their women money, the women pay all their bills, and that's what's attractive to a lot of fake Israelites in the truth, you know, because they believe they could control women because the Bible, and you know, so he did this chapter that's called "Is Your Religious Camp Leader a Priest?" You know, we gotta question that, because a lot of guys that's taking advantage of a lot of women, just brainwashing, mind controlling, like all that stuff is loaded into this chapter. So you know what I mean? So y'all need to purchase this Precept book, you know, so y'all could differentiate from, you know, these fake priests out here that think because they got some men following them and they follow men that's over them, that they could call themselves a priest and be followed and listened to and be, you know, just taking advantage of people. So the brother back. Finally, I get to share the screen. You know what I mean? I don't want to be all taking the show up. Okay, you back. Yo, you back?
Okay.
Yo, you good?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you Tawab. Tawab mean good, y'all. If I say Tawab mean good in Hebrew.
Are we on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you Tawab. You good? Connection stable. You there? If it go out this time, I might just call you on the phone, put you on speakerphone. We just get it out the mud. It's trying to work. Yo, you there? Let me just call him. Let me just call him. This. So, well, at least I got him on the screen. I'm gonna just call him now. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna just call him. Put me back up here. I'll hold it down, y'all. Calling him right now. I'm just having him on speakerphone. I mean, I'd rather not have him on speakerphone. I'd rather just do it through the stream, though. Calling him right now, y'all. Give me 1 second. Dang, this connection all the way up. Alright, F it. So yeah, man. So that was that. Let's see if he come out. I don't know if he about to call me back or on the screen. But yeah, so anyway, so we on this chapter. Is your religious camp leader a priest? So I'm waiting to see what he gonna say about that, because I said everything I had to say about that. I guess till we get back, let's actually go to this chapter and see what it's talking about. Probably 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth chapter. Let's go down to the fourth chapter. So this is an ebook too. How will we get into the wilderness? Some precepts on that. No rapture. So this is an ebook when you purchase it. Let's see if you came back. All right, came back right now. Y'all, you there? Here we go. Let you leader continue. So the book of Ezekiel. Okay, he trying to load back up. So you trying to load back up in there. Give him a little second to load in. The connection straight. I knew this was going to happen too. Damn. That joint's still loading. Dang, just hopped off. So yeah, so in the precept book, he go into the book of Ezekiel, with this precept talking about, is your religious camp leader a priest? Okay, just came back. Let me load him back up in here. Okay, we might got you this time. Okay, yeah, you sound good now.
All right.
Oh, okay, you back?
All right, where did we leave off?
Yeah, so we left off.
Yeah, I think I'm back in.
Yeah.
Can you
So so we pretty much left off. We pretty much left off at the point where we was talking about, is your religious camp leader a priest? Then I was like, people try to say that they a priest and they could just control, like control, mind manipulate, and just sit back, pay no bills, take all the money, do what they want to do, open schools, and forget about the house, and let the girl have to leave her with all the financial hold because they are priests. So you work and you give me your money. You basically just robbing your girl blind and all that. And they try and say they are priests. And they and they get away with it too.
Okay. The way that I see it is, as far as that man's individual financial situation is inside of his own home, me myself, I really don't dip into that because everybody have their own situation. Like, say for instance, if his woman works a great paying job or whatever the case is, and he's working at McDonald's, their financial situation, that's one thing right there. But when somebody calls themselves a priest and believes that they should get money coming from, all the, the nation and everything, that's when the problem starts right there.
Yeah, okay.
You see what I'm saying? That's when the problem starts. As a matter of fact, as far as with the woman, with a man living off of his woman and this and that, I mean, that's the man that she laid down with. You know what I'm saying? So whatever she has should be his. That's the way marriage works, because she is his possession, which pretty much means that he's supposed to own her.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I'm
yeah. I
saying?
agree. I agree with that.
You know, but when he puffs himself up as a priest and believe that you owe him 10% of whatever it is that you bring in, that's a problem. You see what I'm saying? That's a
Mhm.
problem right there.
Yeah, so
There's a
I see
huge
you go into the book of Ezekiel in this chapter, you know.
right. In the book of Ezekiel, you see, because they don't even understand what a priest is actually supposed to do, what the real primary function of a priest is. They don't even know it. But then they run around calling themselves that.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
they don't even know that the priest is supposed to cause the people to discern good from evil, right from wrong, holy from profane, clean from unclean. But they done took the clean and unclean and meshed all the stuff together. They run around teaching things like, taking a man's wife and
Oh
giving the
yeah.
wife to another man. Think that a priest would have done that?
Nah, hell nah.
You know what I'm saying? But this is the type of thing that they teach. And just like see, for instance, what was it? Yeah. Also, too, they'll let their wives run around with blonde hair. You know what I'm saying? And with them cumbrella eyelashes and stuff on. Now, a priest will be able to discern and be like, "Hey, take that damn them eyelashes off. Grow your own hair. Get that blonde shit out your hair." You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because because if you was to come up to a priest will be able to tell you, "Hey, look, man, what your wife is wearing, that's unclean, man." Her running around with somebody with an East Indian woman's hair on her head after they done sacrificed their hair
Right.
over in India to their gods, and then your woman put it up on her head, that woman is unclean. You know what I'm saying? But they don't have discernment like that. And it says
Yeah, okay.
also too, things like that. That's the things that a priest would do. I mean, not saying that a person that does have that type of discernment, nowadays is a priest. Not saying that. But he has some of the qualities, just like all the tribes of Israel is supposed to have some of the qualities of a priest. You see what I'm saying? But they're not the priests themselves. King David never called himself a priest. You know what I'm saying? King David, King Solomon, none of them. What were they? They were kings. They operated that office. And also, too, as UBK, in these groups like that, they'll say a man is a priest and a prophet. Those are two totally separate offices.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
They're
see.
two
That's
totally
why you
separate
got the two different chapters. Okay.
Right.
I bet.
Just like Moses, what was Moses's office? Moses's office was a prophet. Moses was not a priest. Now, what was Aaron's office? Was priest. That was his office. The Lord separated, the two offices. Moses was prophet and Aaron was priest. The Lord
Right.
dealt directly with Moses. The Lord didn't deal directly with Aaron like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like so you broke that down real clean, and I don't want to get too long winded because we want people to buy the book and actually get the understanding.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah,
Right,
that was
right.
but that was excellent though. If you've gone into that in the Precept book, then we got a chapter. Does Satan work for God? And you put no, he doesn't. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because
Also, like ISUBK and stuff, I never even heard something this silly, even when I was, in the Christian church or whatever. But they teach that Satan is one of God's holy angels. That's what they teach. That he is one of God's holy angels. They teach that he loves God and he follows all of God's orders and all of that. Satan is an adversary. That's why he has the name Satan. That's what the name Satan actually means. He's an adversary of everything that is good. You know what I'm saying? He's the adversary of everything that is holy. The adversary of everything that is righteous. Because if he worked for God, then why the Bible say that he's going to be bound for 1,000 years? Bound means you're going to get locked up, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? That'll be like saying, the biggest dope dealer or whatever or whatever the case is like he, works directly. He's a upkeeper of the law. I'll say that.
Yeah, I was going to say it's damn near like saying, you know what I mean, like these gangs and people that's doing crimes, the cops are directly adversaries of, of criminals.
Right. They're polar opposites. God and Satan are direct opposites of one another. And the only reason why, like when you go to Job, the first chapter, why he has access to, the Most High and everything, because another thing to clear up, Satan was never an angel. You know what I'm saying? What he actually was he was a cherub, which is a totally different type of, being, which they're described in the Bible also. That's what he was. He was the covering cherub. You know what I'm saying? When he was actually with the Lord, he was the covering cherub. Iniquity was found in him, and the Lord cast him down. That's how he was able to meet Eve at the tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
Oh, okay. That's going okay. So like, do you touch in that you know what I'm saying, during this chapter, or is that something that you want to break down in another volume?
I'll most likely break that down in another volume and everything, and get more in depth about that. In the next volume.
All right.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I got you. So let's get to Cain was the. So man, you pretty much you do everything. Cain was the pre-flood Esau white man. You got Esau is the so-called white man. Then you got the way. So let's talk about this topic right here. The way tithing was and was supposed to be. You know what I mean? So like, why do you feel like that topic was like important to to break down?
Well, I believe that title is important because people is getting shaken down for their money.
Yeah.
Right. Just by these same dudes that call themselves priests and prophets. The tithes never was money. It never was money. And what do they say nowadays when you bring up, they try to mock, they try to, make you feel, stupid and everything by saying things like, well, you can't pay no bills with fruits and vegetables. Okay. But here's the thing, the tithe never was meant to pay your bills. That's not what a tithe was for. The tithe is meant to be eaten. Tithe has to do with agriculture. Dollars got a damn thing to do with agriculture other than buying some food. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I mean, they're using that. And let me tell you who reinstituted the tithe and made it about money. The Catholic Church did that. So
Yeah.
anybody that's collecting tithes as far as money wise, what religion are they for real? They're Catholics, ain't they?
Yeah.
So that means all of these groups and the Christian churches and all of that that have the members paying tithes are really pushing Catholicism.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. Yeah, that's why this is a good chapter. Yeah, and then you got the tithing scam. The tithe, okay, was never money. So these two chapters, coincide with each other, basically.
Right. Those two go together. Right.
All right. So here's the big bang. Everybody wants to know the multiple wife precepts. You know what I'm saying? Why was that important to put up in volume 1? Right? The multiple wives precept.
Okay. The multiple wives precept. It's important to bring up because people teach. They teach that you can only have one wife, and all of that, right?
Right.
Well, here's the thing. What people don't understand is the woman was made for the man. So if a person say the man can only have one wife, you know what that's like saying? That's like saying that a farmer can only have one acre of land. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
You can only have 1 acre. If you buy 2 acres, then you cheating on the 1 acre that you first bought. How stupid does that sound?
Yeah. And women never want to hear that they can only have, like if you wanted a girl, you got a boy, they don't want to hear it. Now you only, like you stuck with that boy. You can't try again to like have another child.
Right. Yeah. You just tell your boss at work, hey man, you can only have 1 employee, and that's got to be me. Only one employee. You know what I'm saying? That boss is going to give you your walking papers. So any woman that keeps hounding you about only having 1 wife and being monogamous and all of that, guess what? She can have her walking papers. Because her job is actually, she don't even understand what she was created for. You know what I'm saying? She was created to be the helpmeet to a man. That's her whole existence. That's what our whole existence is supposed to be on. Is to be a helpmeet to that man. And the helpmeet can't tell you, you know what? That'd be like, that'd be like a boss, at work has a secretary. But then she comes to him and says, you can only have 1 secretary. And that secretary gotta be me. Only 1. But here's the thing. This is coming from women that have they have baby daddies. They have ex-husbands. They had, other people that they was in relationships with, and they're not monogamous themselves. But they tell you to be monogamous because they flipped everything around backwards. You know what I'm saying? And then made you the helpmeet to them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like what I want to do, like for the Christians that may come across this live stream in the future and they made it this far, let's give them a precept to the multiple wives. If they, if these women prove that in the Bible. So this is what the precept book is for. So let's do this. Let's go to your precept book. So one precept for multiple wives that you got is Matthew 25, 7 and 10. You know what I mean? I'm going to read it and I'm going to let you break it down, okay?
All right.
All right. Matthew 25, 7 through 10. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. Verse 8. And the foolish said unto the wise, give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. Verse 9. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you, but go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. Verse 10. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut.
So what that's saying is that a man married 5 women at the same time, didn't he?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Because Matthew 25:1 said, then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. That's verse 1 of what you started off breaking down in the Precept book. Started off with 10 women, ended with 5 women, you know.
Right. And notice all 5 of those women went into the marriage chamber with the one man.
Right.
You know, they didn't all have sex together. You know, don't get it twisted. Because a lot of people that believe that having multiple wives is about, you know, everybody sexing each other up. No. You know what I'm saying? Don't let's not get that twisted. They went into the marriage chamber as an agreement that they are all going to be the wife of this one man. The sex part is the consummation of the marriage. You see what I'm saying? Which he will be having that individually with each one. But they all went in, you know what I'm saying? They all went into to the marriage chamber and everything, you know, to be into agreement. Look, you're going to be our husband and we are going to be your wives. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, if having more than one wife was wrong, why would Christ use an analogy like that?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Why would he use an analogy like that?
Yeah.
Right, it's not wrong. You know? Yeah, it's not. It's certainly nothing wrong with it. You know? At all. You know? I mean, it's pretty much, you know, I mean, and then you got to look at all the kings and everything. King David was a man after the Lord's own heart. Did he only just have one woman?
Nah. Oh, that's heavy how you just said that. That even hit harder how you just said it. You know what I'm saying? David was not a man of his own heart. He was of his Lord's heart. So if the Lord, you know what I'm saying? So whatever the Lord wanted, that's what David wanted. Or not wanted, but that's what David would have, what the Lord wants.
Right.
And, you know, that makes multiple wives not something that's bad.
Right. You know, here's the thing, going all the way back to Genesis. The woman was made for the man. You know, the woman was made for the man, not the other way around. You know, you got women trying to push monogamy on a man when she's never been monogamous in her whole damn life.
Yeah.
You know, she's never been monogamous her whole life, but she figured, oh no, you should be monogamous. You know what I'm saying? That's what you should be. You should only want me. And I done heard of women even telling, getting a man to get a vasectomy, and then the same woman go get pregnant by another man.
Yeah.
That's crazy work right there.
Yeah.
Making sure that your seed don't, to be honest with you, when they sit there and trying to attack, having more than one wife, they're actually, that is attack of Satan right there, to not want your genes spread out in the earth. Having multiple wives, if it wasn't for multiple wives, me and you probably most likely wouldn't be here.
Yeah, I agree.
We most likely would not be here. You can't build no nation on monogamy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't build no nation on monogamy.
Mhm.
You have to understand, that a nation is built, by, what does the scriptures say? Be fruitful and multiply, and
Mhm.
replenish the earth. Run around in monogamy and everything, that's not gonna, that's because every woman doesn't have a dowry like that. You have a wife, back in the day, a man could have one wife and they produce 8, 9 kids together. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Nowadays, a man have one woman. The average family has, 2 children, something like that. Low numbers of children.
Yeah. That's heavy hitting. Yeah.
That's the ideal family. That's the reason why when they put Barack Obama in office, Barack Obama had what? 2 daughters. No sons. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. He was supposed to be an example of what a black family should look like. See, and that's one of the reasons why the Arabs are such a dominating force that, that the white man has a hard time dealing with. Because they don't teach that monogamy stuff over in Arab cultures. They don't teach that. You know how many siblings Bin Laden had? Bin Laden.
Nah, I bet it's a lot though.
Yes, 53. You know what I'm saying? He was one of 53 children of his father, begotten of his father.
And his father didn't have to be ashamed of it. And it's like everything you're saying, it's like, why do black people gotta feel ashamed? You know what I mean? Trying to have multiple women when Bin Laden's father wasn't ashamed, but they so respected on the earth as far as, like they don't want to, countries don't want to fuck with, the Taliban. They respect it and they live their culture. Black people, when it came away from our culture of the Bible, and we acting, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? This is why we not feared nowhere and we can't come together.
Right. And we're not respected anywhere.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, how can you, expect to get respect out of a bunch of men that teach monogamy? You know what I'm saying? You're not going to get no respect out of those men. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're not going to give those men any respect.
Right, right.
Those men actually rule their houses. They rule their wives, as the Bible says to do. Because the scripture says, if a man know not how to rule his own house, how can he rule be over the churches of God?
Yo, what you saying? It brings me to are you familiar with Kevin Gates?
Yeah, I'm familiar with him.
Man, Kevin Gates, based on what we talking about, man, he's like the reason why black people are just, we'll never be respected. Because you're supposed to be in Islam. You're going to marry Brittany Griner and you're going to divorce her in a couple of weeks after that. Like you're supposed to be able to be that one black face to be like, nigga, I could have Brittany Griner as my wife. I could have, my ex that I divorced as my wife too. And whoever else, all these fans, you have all these fans that want to have sex with him as a wife. And he's supposed to be able to stand on that. But he, Islam and still, being, a simp Christian at the same time.
Right. And see, here's the thing, with him, being getting married with her in a contract with the government. That's not Islam's way. That's the way of American Christianity.
Yeah.
That's not Islam right there. That's the Arabs that come here to this country, they don't do that. You know what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
Asians and everything that come to this country and all of that stuff, they don't do that type of stuff. They keep their own cultures.
Man,
You
it
know,
even take me to Stephon Diggs and Cardi B. Stephon Diggs can have plenty of women, but you chose to make Cardi B your main chick, and then y'all break up. You know what I mean?
right,
And it's
right,
and take me to Dwight Howard, the basketball player. He got married to this girl, and 6 months later, she filed for divorce right now. It's like, you know, it's showing us that this whole marriage construct is not for us. But we keep
right.
doing
It's
it.
not
We following these examples thinking that you ain't made it in life until you got married this type of way when the girl gonna leave you 6 months tops. Birdman and Tony Braxton. She married him, and then like 2 weeks later, came out that she divorced him. So it's like,
right.
damn, like why do we keep just doing this?
Yeah, I mean, I think celebrities, they're, I think a lot of the times they marrying and everything for the whole controversial thing, so that they can stay relevant. I think they're doing a lot of this crazy stuff to be relevant, and those people are actually married to Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
They
yeah.
all have one, they all married to the same thing. That's why they pass all of these different women around.
I like that. I like that perspective. I ain't even think of that. So it don't matter who the man is, because we all married to Hollywood. It don't matter who the
Right.
girl is. We married to Hollywood. So we
Exactly.
can all right, cool.
And I believe, I strongly believe that that's the reason why they have such a problem with R. Kelly. Because see, R. Kelly got after that whole thing with him and Aaliyah, he never got with another woman in that industry.
Oh, that's heavy.
You know what I'm saying? And see, here's the thing.
I'm about to put you on the screen.
When they marry, they're all married together. They all pass around the same herpes. They all, they're one body. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're one body. But when people step outside of that and start to marry like regular people that still have regular people still have the light in them. They still have some light in them. You know what I'm saying? R. Kelly, that's what he got with women that were not in the industry and everything. He had like 4 women or whatever that were not in the industry.
Right.
They wasn't a part of that. Right. They wasn't a part of the that function of the beast. They wasn't a part of that.
Hey, let me interject this. This is a funny story. So this was probably like 6 or 7 years ago. You know what I mean? I had kind of just moved out here to Atlanta, and I was cool with this basketball player. Well, the way me and him met was by playing NBA 2K, the video game. But me and him also hoop, like in real life. So this dude basically, man, this dude actually plays basketball with R. Kelly over, like over at his mansion in Atlanta. And I got invited to go to R. Kelly, gym and play basketball with him. But because my work schedule, it ain't lined up, whereas though, he was going to pick me up and take me to R. Kelly house so I could hoop with him and R. Kelly. So I almost met R. Kelly out here in Georgia one time. Got invited to go play basketball at his house, at his indoor gym, man.
Hey, I almost met him one time myself. Met him one time myself too. down in Louisville, Kentucky. I was working at the Denny's, and R. Kelly would come to, he would come to Louisville, on the low. I'm talking about, he wouldn't even be at a concert or none of that, but he would pull up in the he frequented that Denny's that I worked at.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't meet him. It's because at that time I was working the third shift. And R. Kelly would come through. He would order like 40 grand slams. Something like that. He would order a big order or whatever. And I seen his tour bus pulling up, and it was my time to leave. It was my time to get off.
Yeah.
Because if I was still inside Denny's, then they would have tried to get me to stay. It's already 7 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to stay here no longer. When I seen R. Kelly's tour bus pull up, I hurried up and shot and got on the right across the street and got on the public transportation bus stop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to stay there for them to do the 40, grand slams and all of that. But, and they said that they say he don't tip well and all of that, which I can understand that, because if you're a celebrity and a star like that, everybody going to expect for you to tip big and all of that kind of stuff. You don't want to do that stuff all the time. He just, they just want to be a regular, a lot of times they just want to be a regular person.
Yeah. Hey man, shit, man. I'm the same way, you know what I mean? Like sometimes I be wanting to go to Olive Garden, but because I also got a tip when I go there, man, I just be wanting a salad, some spaghetti. But it's like, man, I gotta tip this waiter too. I like, man, I'm gonna just cook tonight, man. Cause I got sometimes I got the money, sometimes I don't got the money, but it's like I don't want to be obligated to always tip.
Right.
Sometimes I want to order my food like it's takeout, man, and sit and eat this shit.
Right. Everybody want to tip.
R. Kelly on that,
Right. I do too. I understand. Everybody want to tip. Everybody want to autograph. Man, just hey, man, look, just leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, no disrespect, but just leave me alone. I just want to eat. So I understand that. I get it. But if I had stayed there, if I had stayed,
yeah.
I would have probably most likely met him or something. Because a lot of them celebrities, they like Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah. They come to Louisville a lot. Even when they ain't got no show to do or anything like that. They go to Louisville a whole lot. Yeah, but I mean, Louisville. They look at Louisville. Okay, some of them look at Louisville as they low key, low key second home.
You know what I'm saying? We almost met R. Kelly, both of us, and I never would have known. I never would have known that.
Right? Yeah. I almost got to meet him. I mean, a lot of times, they just want to be. A lot of times, they just want to be normal people. Just do normal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to. They don't want to always have to sign an autograph or, what I'm saying. Things like that. They don't want to always have to do things like that. Sometimes they just want to be a regular person, and I feel that.
Yeah.
Because me, I'm the same way.
You know what I'm saying? Like the only people they want. Yeah, it's like the only people they don't have no problem tipping are the strippers and the bartenders.
Right. But then you have a lot of them celebrities that don't even go to those places that demand something like that. You know what I'm saying? If they, there are a lot of celebrities don't even go to them type of places. If they do, they go every once in a while and they splurge that one day or whatever. Then it's back to business. You know what I'm saying? They go
Yo,
and they
you there?
show out. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay. Hey, Tarap, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I got you now.
Okay. Yeah, but I can, like I was saying, I can understand them just
Tarap, you
wanting
there?
to, yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Let me see. Yo, yeah, Tarap. So, I was saying like so for some reason our connection kind of messing up, but we probably gonna close it out. You know what I mean, we got an hour, 30 minutes in. I think. Let me see if your connection. Hey, yo, you there? Dang, I think his connection went out. Yo, you there? I'm about to.
Can you hear me?
All right. Yeah. Okay, I got you now. Tarap, you there? Man, his connection messing up.
Yeah, we breaking up pretty bad. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So
Can you hear
I
me?
hear you. But I was gonna say, our connection kind of messing up, so we probably just gonna wrap the episode up. I'm gonna pass it to you once the connection come back, and let you get the final words off. You know what I mean? Glad you came on to promote your Precept book, the Hebrew Israelite Precept book, and bring it up. Yeah, his connection's still loading. So the brother hopped off. I'm gonna actually try to stay on for a little bit to give him time to come on so he could say his closing words for the Precept book. But he came out with the Hebrew Israelite Precept book. Again, I'm gonna scroll down to the table of contents, so y'all might want to purchase the Precept book. It is it is a ebook though, y'all. Okay, you back. I'm back.
Right.
All right, Tarap, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, cool. All right, yeah. So what I was saying was, our connection kind of messing up, and I don't want nothing, major to happen. So we're gonna go ahead and close it out. And I wanted to leave you, what I'm saying, with the last word, since this is about, the book that you created, the Hebrew Israelite Precept book. So I'm gonna pass it off to you. You know what I mean?
Okay. Saying, but this book is a must get. Yeah, it's a must get. Start to open people's eyes to the understanding of what certain topics is actually really talking about in the Bible. And also too, my Precept book is not a cookie cutter Precept book. It goes against the grain in a lot of ways. It goes against the grain, but nevertheless, it still is very accurate. And like I was saying, they're going to be doing 3 more volumes on this Precept book. And like I was saying, this is a must get.
Yeah. Also, let them know how to, you know what I'm saying, how to message you to get it.
Okay, you message me. Go to UPK Gans, UPK GANZ, and just hit me up in the messenger.
Yeah, that's Facebook. Yeah.
Right. It's Facebook. Just hit me up in the messenger, or you just hit me up in my messenger or whatever. My Cash App tag is $ steel pill. And I'll be shooting the book. It's an ebook. I'll be shooting that right into your email. Hit me up on my messenger, give me your email, and we just go from there.
All right, give me 1 second. Let me put your Cash App up in here too. $. Still. I'm gonna put this on the screen too, so people can have it.
Okay.
Right there. So that's his Cash App, y'all. That's Tarap's Cash App. Still feel $20 for the Precept book. You hit him up on Facebook, type in UPK Gans, let him know you're trying to purchase the Precept book. He'll ask you to Cash App him at his Cash App Still Pill. And it's an ebook, so it'll come straight to your email. You ain't gotta wait for shipping and handling, nothing like that. So direct message, direct sale, direct to you.
Right, you get it immediately.
Right, and also if y'all decide to hit me up because y'all just don't follow directions, then hit me up and I'll do the same thing. I'll give y'all his Cash App, and either I'll send it to you because I also purchased purchased it myself. That's why I'm able to do all this scrolling, because I paid for it myself. So y'all hit me up. Also, if y'all can't get in touch with him, then I'll give you his Cash App, and I'll give it to y'all too. That way he still get the money and everything. And so yeah, with that, man, you think that's it?
Yeah, that'll be about it until we do this all again.
Yeah, man. You know what I mean? Definitely support the Precept book, whether y'all agree with it or not. Buy it and find out. Buy it and tell them what you don't agree with. Either way, you know what I mean? Oh, I'm gonna let you talk. Go ahead, close it out.
I'm open for any discussions concerning the Precept book. I'm open to explain, or whatever. Let me know any problems that anybody have with the Precept book. I'm here to answer any questions.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right, man. I appreciate you coming on, Tarap. You know what I mean? Shalom.
Hey, shalom, brother.
Shalom, Lord in Christ.
Shalom, Lord Christ.
Yeah. So with that, y'all, you know what I'm saying? Support the brother, Tarap Gamut Salaki, Games Tarap. Hit him up on Facebook, UPK Games. His Cash App is Still Pill. He'll email it over if you hit me up. I'll give you his Cash App. Y'all Cash App him. Show proof you Cash App him. And I'll even send you the Precept book too. And support it. He put a lot of time into this. He asked me to help edit the Precept book. So, I put some work into it too. I put my time and energy. And for the time and energy that I put into it, I know he put more time and energy into it too. So, support him at least for the time, whether you agree or not agree, purchase it, find out, be open to discussion. You know what I mean? It took me like 12 hours to edit the Precept book and add his commentary and all that. So, definitely support him with his Precept book. And with that, man, shalom. You know. Let me close out. Love was fake. I stayed till